some of our staff members. We wanted to provide an opportunity just to kind of share a little bit about what's going on. Some of you, if you're following the news at all about the BSA at the national level, you're probably hearing some news from there. And then we wanted to really assure you of the direction that our local council is going in, but also give you that kind of 30,000-foot view of what's happening at national. On the call tonight is our council president, Joe Lake, and our council commissioner, Lee Stegall. They're going to be joining our staff and going through a few items that we hope, our hope is that it'll be valuable information for you, and that you'll take this information and share it with your parents and other leaders that you come in contact with, so that ultimately we go into this summer and then into the fall strongly and aggressively to grow our scouting program here locally. There's several things that are poised in our favor, and I personally am excited about some of the opportunities that we have, not only this summer but going into the fall. We'll get into that a little bit, but really at first, I need to thank each of you, not just for joining us tonight, but what you're doing for the kids of West Central Alabama. Never doubt that your efforts are having an impact. They're making a difference. Hopefully you see that in the kids and the families that you serve. If you don't, please know that it is making a difference. We see it and we hear it here at the council office. And I genuinely appreciate your efforts, and generally appreciate what you're doing for the families that are in your packs and troops. So thank you for doing that. I wanted to start off just by highlighting, 2021, we're through the first quarter now. I wanted to give you a couple highlights, and we're going to have a few slides on the screen. There'll be some personal time for Q&A at the end. I will tell you this: we are going to keep our meeting down to an hour and respect everyone's time. We know this is a lot of family time for some of you, and a few of you are skipping out of a scout meeting right now to participate. So thank you for that. But I wanted to point out a couple things. If you weren't aware, the BSA now allows females to participate, and I will give my own personal testimony. I questioned this when they first pushed this opportunity. I am a huge proponent of it now. I've seen the impact it has, and the more kids we can get to participate in our scouting background, the better we all are. But the majority of the girls that are joining, remember, for those of you that might not be completely familiar, it's not a co-ed program that we're talking about. It's a separate program for girls. Even at the pack level, they have girl dens and boy dens. And at the Scouts BSA level, the old Boy Scout level, there's girl troops and there's boy troops. The picture of the two young ladies you see on your screen are the very first two Eagle Scouts that made it through the Eagle Scout process and earned their Eagle rank this past January. Very proud of them. Ever and Olivia, the first two young ladies to do that, and have really pioneered the path and created some excitement with other young ladies. Both of these young ladies, by the way, their dads are scout leaders, and they've really grown up through Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, just never had the opportunity to earn the badges and all the recognition, and they were given that opportunity, and both of them excelled. So happy about that. So that's a success of 2021 so far. Another thing that I would call a success for scouting and should encourage you is that there's, in the middle of your screen, you'll see a little article. There's a lot of these you can Google, but there's a greater awareness of the benefits of the outdoors. With COVID, holding us back and putting us in our houses for a year, a lot of people appreciate more the outdoors and those opportunities that come along with the outdoors and the benefits of it. We are positioned as an organization that promotes outdoor adventure, and I think we need to capitalize on that going into the summer and the fall when we do recruitment. People know that people are looking for a way to get outdoors, and if there's some kind of structure in place like the Boy Scouts of America, I think that plays into our favor significantly. And then one thing before I get into the COVID safety protocols that we have in place, our staff is conducting what we call principal breakfasts. We've had 2 so far. We go and we work with the superintendent of specific counties and ask them if we can talk to their principals at their monthly meetings. So far, we've had an opportunity to speak in Mountain, and we did the county schools here in River. We've got a couple more that we're lining up, just waiting to confirm dates. But I want to encourage you with this. Our educators support what we do. They see the benefits of scouting at the Cub Scout and Scouts BSA level. Know that and know what we do is important, and they realize that. They're very grateful for our efforts. They realize that volunteers are the backbone of what we do. It's moms and dads of students that they have that are the leaders. And we were able to share some scouting outcomes that was done by Tufts University that was very eye-opening to a lot of them. And we also shared how, at least in Cub Scouting, I know in Boy Scouts too, or Scouts BSA too, but in Cub Scouts, there are several Cub Scout activities that we do with our young people that line up with the educational standards that are required at the state level. It's a great marriage between education and scouting, and we were able to share that with them, and they're excited about what you are doing and appreciate your efforts. I also want to point out, finally, you see a little clip on the right-hand side of your screen that says resources. There are a lot of resources out there that make scouting safe, even with COVID going on. Most of our units are already back face-to-face, doing a lot of fun activities, indoors and outdoors. If you're not, we need to get back on track and get busy doing the face-to-face meeting with our young people and our families. We'll get into that a little bit later, but our protocols that we instituted back in the early summer of 2020 have worked very, very well. All the events that we had in the fall and the events we've had so far this spring, we haven't had any known cases of COVID arise from those adventures, those events that we held. So we're pleased with that. Our safety protocols are working, and they will continue to work. So a lot of good things happening, great momentum right now locally at the Boy Scouts of America. With that said, I'm going to hand it over to our council president, Joe Lake. Is going into his second year as council president, board president for the Black Warrior Council. And he's going to give you kind of a state of the National Boy Scouts of America, kind of an overview of what's happening, with probably some of the news that you've been seeing. So Joe, if you could take it from here. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. Is this good?
Much better.
All right, good deal. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for your attendance, and I'll echo Bill's comments. Thanks for all you do, especially during the difficult times, to keep scouting going, and at your local levels to keep the youth engaged and to teach them character and development, and appreciate all that you do for the scouting movement. As you know, back around February of last year, the National Office of the Boy Scouts of America filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And they did this for two key objectives. First, to equitably compensate all of the victims. And then secondly, to continue to carry out Scouting's mission for years to come, to make sure what we've seen the youth in this community experience and learn and grow from continues on for decades and centuries to come. So currently what's going on with the bankruptcy is there is an ongoing mediation between national, the local councils, the plaintiffs committees, the attorneys that are representing those claimants, and the insurance companies. And we've seen some movements in the last couple of weeks that have been positive for this. Specifically, we've seen one of the insurance companies, the Hartford, agree to a $650 million settlement. And so one of the biggest pieces of reaching this settlement is getting the insurance companies to participate. And so that's a good sign that the Hartford was willing to do that. The hope by National is that we will be able to reach a settlement by August, so that they can come out of bankruptcy and as part of that, restructure their operations. And I'm going to ask Lee, our council commissioner, to go over kind of that restructuring process that National is going through.
All right. Well, the current hierarchy of the scouting is a system of regions and areas. We're in a region and then an area within that region. Part of the streamlining process to make it more efficient is to reorganize everything into territories. They have us currently in a territory with 20 different councils that is North Mississippi, North Alabama, North Georgia, Tennessee, and parts of Kentucky. These territories were derived based upon available resources, the demographics and everything, the geographical regions, the available youth that are able to be in scouting, transportation, all kind of different factors went into creating these territories. The objective of this is to create a single layer of volunteers, a key three and committee that oversees our region. Lots of volunteers as well as executives that have direct communication to the council, eliminating a layer between us and the national headquarters. The goal is to provide lots of structure, find high-performing councils within our territory. Working together, we're going to have a lot more communication and direct interaction with other councils. They have a concept called the Lighthouse Council, and it's where we're recognizing that a particular council is especially good at recruiting or especially good at fundraising and sharing of resources within that group and across the territory. Lots of mentoring and coaching with volunteers and staff will be more within this territory. Some of our tech support and items that used to be at the national level when we had problems with Scout Book is moving down to the council level. So getting people to, I guess, less top heavy, more centered around who we are, where we are, and what we need to do to move forward and be successful. We'll have a lot better reach to other councils and to the help that we need. With that, I guess I'll turn it back over to Joel to discuss where we are with the state of our council. Unmute, Joel.
All right, thank you, Lee. I appreciate that. What I wanted to talk about next is kind of what the state of the Black Warrior Council is. Wanted to let everybody know that we're fully engaged in program development and implementation. Our council program committee is assessing and improving the current programs and making sure that we have all the certifications that we need as we go forward with camp. Particularly to be able to use some of the events that we've got out there, from climbing and rappelling to the shooting sports to ATV, and really expanding some of the opportunities we have for youth and adult leader training to make sure that we have plenty of individuals to be able to keep these programs going. We're also engaging youth in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics initiatives by using robotics and coding and training youth in after-school programs to be able to use those, and combining that knowledge with also teaching them Scout character development. And we're expanding our programs with STEM to mountain and prairie districts. And I'll give a shout out to Roland for the work that he's done to not only to generate some grants to do this, but also to encourage those kids in those programs and expand those. So Roland, shout out to you for that. I also like the purple tuxedo. That's pretty sweet right there that you got on in your picture. Also wanted to encourage all of the units to make sure that you know that the camps are open and they're available for your use. We have 3 great properties that your units can use, and they really look better than they ever have. thanks to some volunteers, especially during the time of COVID when people were off, instead of just sitting around, they spent their time out at camp and really improving the property. And also thanks to Tim, our camp ranger, for really getting out there and making some improvements. So to all of you that are on this call that were involved in that, really thank you for doing the work that you did, because it looks great out there. And if you have a unit, if y'all are looking at doing a weekend camp out, looking at doing something at camp, and have a question about that, reach out to me or Bill or one of the district executives to find out how you can reserve that, because we would love y'all to come out to camp and see what's going on out there. Next, I wanted to talk a little bit about fundraising. Despite all that we have going on in terms of the pandemic, we are on track to reach our targets for Friends of Scouting this year. We are actively having our events for that fundraising, and we're on target to hit the goals. This money helps us invest more in the program, our camps, and also provide assistance to youth that need financial assistance to be able to cover those costs, and also be able to reach those after-school programs. So thank you all for your support of Friends of Scouting and keeping this going. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about was council operations. They do remain strong. Thankfully, in 2020, one of the things that we wanted to make sure is that we were able to keep all the staff. We didn't want to have to let anybody go. We didn't want to have to reduce what our staff was able to do at the local unit level. And we wanted to keep them engaged, be able to help you out. And thankfully, due to this fundraising, due to obtaining a PPP loan that has been forgiven, we were able to keep a full staff. And so our future is looking bright. We were able to continue offering the programs. And as we come out of the pandemic, we are set to be able to get back to where we were and be in person and really engage the youth of this community. So to all of you that are on the call, that are part of the staff, that have been involved in the programs and keeping them going, and in the fundraising efforts, thank you, because y'all have really done a great job. Zach, Justin, all of y'all, Harrison, Roland, really appreciate the work that y'all have done, because it's been phenomenal to be able to keep things going like we've been able to.
All right, Justin, why don't you go into your part about the Cub Resident Camp and Scouts BSA Summer Camp?
Good evening, everyone. Our summer camp is starting to get kicked off. We're excited about this year. As you can see from the slide here, our registration is open. So if you haven't registered yet, we need you to register today. So if you need help with that, please reach out to me, and I'll be glad to help you with that. Another thing that we would like to talk about is also our COVID protocols, so to speak, for what we're looking at. We're still going to require the same, youth and adult waivers along with a health screener still, but we are looking at possibly making face masks optional. That way it's not required due to the state, and even federal starting to talk about coming off of that as well. So just a short little preview about our COVID protocols and how they're fixing to start changing back to a certain normalcy. And then also, I just want to pitch a good idea for our summer camp. Not idea, excuse me. Our programs, which is climbing. We'll have aquatics. We'll have the pool open, ready to go. Our ATVs will be ready to go for our older scouts. And then our ranges are looking better than ever. Tim has done a great job with camp, along with volunteers that's been given their time, like what Joel said earlier. And Bill, like our volunteers have been awesome as far as, if they've been off work and they just coming out there to to do work at camp. They've done a great job of that, and we certainly appreciate their time that they've given towards our camp and making our properties look good. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our field director, Zach Lawler, about school night and other things for fall recruitment.
Thank you, Justin. Real quick, fall recruitment plans are being finalized. Schools are starting to be set by our district executives and myself now through June. Successful recruitment is essential to the strength of your packs and troops. This year, we're going to do a little something different. We're going to have the packs and troops appoint a school night coordinator. We've already come up with the incentive for the school night coordinator. It's on page 3 of the recruiting new Cubs, a guide for packs. It's on our resource page there that Justin has up. And we'll probably email that out to you guys as well. But there's a list of things to do. And with that, if the school night coordinator does all the 8 things that's listed there, every person in the pack we'll have a free event on December the 11th at Camp Horn or Camp O'Rear. More information will be sent out over the coming weeks, but it's only the units that participate with this can go. So if you can't pay to go, you can only do it through your parents. It's not a den leader or a scout leader. It's a parent in your pack that's volunteered to be a school night coordinator. And if they do those things, then that whole pack gets to go for free. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Justin to talk about online resources and video content.
Thanks, Zach. Another thing that we've been pushing out here lately is, we're trying to get build our library up for scouts in action. And y'all, if you get our newsletter, you'll be able to see what's on the screen here. We've been sending this out in our newsletter along with our Cub Corner and our Scouts and Venturing Corner, or whatever it's called. But yeah, I mean, we've been sending this out, and I've been getting been hearing from a lot of leaders with video information. So if y'all have any videos or anything, please feel free to email it to me, and I'll be glad to use it for and this is just, this could be used for our promotions moving forward, or just anything that we could use it for. We would greatly appreciate what y'all can do for us on that end, and we certainly appreciate the videos if you have them, even pictures as well. Our next one that we're going to talk about, we've got a lot of resources on our website, and that we've totally revamped our resources page, and you can find this on our website at bwc-bsa.org, and just hit resources, and you'll just see a bunch of tabs, just whatever y'all may need or want. I know I've got training for our adults on here first. We got our own training page. So if you click on one of these buttons on here, it's going to take you to that page, and it's going to tell you more information of what's needed, what's required, and even youth. I want youth to go to this as well for NYLT, which is our National Youth leadership training that we're going to start back doing soon. But we've got these resources out there. They're easy to get to and easy to use. Next one is meeting resources. I put both the Cub Scout resources and the Scout BSA troop resources. So all whatever you need, like your den leaders for Cubs or your Scout masters, whatever y'all need, it's there under our resources on our website. So I just encourage y'all to use it if y'all can. Go there, y'all can click them. Sometimes it'll take you to another page on our website, or it'll take you to the national website, whatever's being used and what's being offered. The next one is advancement. Oh, I mean, we added advancement earlier in 2020, right when I first took over. We added advancement, and I had a lot of people asking me questions about how do we do this, or what belt loops do we get to earn this rank. And I've got it all laid out for you guys as far as rank requirements. You can click on it, and it'll pop up what requirements a line needs to earn that rank. Or I even did for Scouts BSA. You can click on the life rank, and it'll tell you what requirements you need there. And we also we're fixing to pull out we're fixing to send out the Black Warrior Council Eagle Scout Procedures Guidebook, which I'm very excited about, and I think it's going to help you leaders go through the process of the Eagle application. I know most of y'all have already been doing that for a long time now, but me and the advancement committee started thinking about, how can we help our leaders and help them get to where they need to go as far as Eagle Scout. So be on the lookout for that. We do have a PowerPoint out already. If y'all want to check that out, I would highly recommend y'all check this page out. I mean, I hope it helps you out as much as possible, and just did it for you guys, and just let me know what y'all think about it. And then we also have a video resource, which I need to update. I will say I will need to update, but we have whatever video you may need. It's right here. You can find it. All you gotta do is scroll down, and you'll see where it's at. And it's under video resources. So if you need anything like that, please let me know, and we'll be glad to help you out with that. I am at this time. I'm going to introduce our Prairie District Executive, Harrison Centel. I'm going to hand it over to him.
Thank you, Justin. So what I'm talking about tonight is the importance of meeting in person. I know this pandemic is these unfortunate times have kind of been a little issue with meeting inside in our normal meeting locations and such. And obviously just having parents wanting to participate. We have had, as Bill stated earlier, we have had tons of units meeting. We've even had some units grow throughout these times, which is fantastic. We definitely want to focus. I definitely want to put it towards the note that I believe Justin is on our page involving on our website involving alternative meeting locations and such. That way to better serve you and show you ways that y'all can meet. If you have any other questions about kind of changing up how you meet, what obstacles to overcome, you can always talk to your DEs. But we definitely need to be meeting, as a lot of these kids are slowly not having activities. A lot of them are still paying for scouting, and we definitely want those kids to be able to enjoy the full benefits of scouting throughout the year. What I was able to go and do, and I definitely, as a kid, as a leader, as a professional leader and former scout, I definitely suggest we kind of focus on encouraging our parents, encouraging our leaders to let's get started back into meeting. Like I said earlier, tons of our units have already been meeting so we actually have one of those leaders, Scoutmaster or a Cubmaster from Pack 477, Charlie Plasters. Charlie, if you want to just kind of talk for a minute and then send it back.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, let me say thanks. I appreciate it, Joel and Lee, for being here, giving of your time to kind of update us and keep us abreast of things that are changing nationally and even locally with the council. I appreciate that. I appreciate our professional staff for answering all those questions in the hard times when they didn't really have all the answers either, and continuing to support us the best they could. So initially going into the COVID era, we kind of had it tough. I'm not going to lie. I lost all my leaders. We had a recruiting right before COVID. We had a recruiting night, and we're up to about almost 90 Cubs, which is huge for what our little area. Transitioning, there was some drop in that attendance. We still maintained close to 70 on roll. And then when COVID hit, we kind of ceased meeting just because everybody was in a panic. We weren't sure exactly what we were facing. There wasn't a lot of data out there to support anything. So everybody was being super cautious. And eventually, my wife and I were the only two leaders left. And aside from our committee, that was kind of diminished as well. So we had to start from the ground up. And we kind of had a conscious decision to say, hey, we're going to give our Cubs the opportunity to do things outside. And traditionally, as it says, 3/4 of scouting is just that, it's outing. And so we're going to socially distance. We're going to follow the COVID protocols. We're going to sign the waivers. We're going to provide opportunities. And it worked for us. And again, we grew. We did a recruiting night and we grew. We were meeting face to face. We tried the virtual aspect, and we just, to be honest, we weren't very proficient at it, and we didn't have all the resources that are currently available to PACs doing virtual. And once we went face to face, it's tough to go back virtual. And the parents, we had honest conversations with parents up front with the risks, and our leaders. I recruited some leaders, and I'm just telling you, I think I've got some of the best leaders that our council has to offer. They stepped up time and time again. They put on quality PAC programs. They put on DEN programs. I have a vision. I see it, and they make it happen. And when you're surrounded with great people facing a pandemic, it's a lot easier when you got a great team behind you. And that's exactly what it did for me. I had a team that realized, hey, we want to jump on board and we want to be a part of this. And like I said, we were at all the council events, and we went up and visited O'Rear. Our parents were enthralled. They want to go back over and over and over and over. And Camp Horn, again, they want to go back. It's so close. It's so easy and convenient. And we're kind of having to push them out of their comfort zone and find other areas to be involved in. And we're going to a camp out this weekend, and somebody asked, well, what are your numbers looking like? And I said, well, here's the thing. With my numbers, I could bring 75 people, or I could bring 25 people. It really kind of depends. And so, with parents and siblings involved, I don't know. And they were limiting their number to 200. And so I was like, there's a chance I could take a third of that. I could take a third of your allotted numbers from your council. And they were like, we're okay with it. We want you to bring as many as you can. And so we did just that, and we're geared up, ready to go again this weekend. Our parents have bought in. Last night we did a service project for a local school, and the school talked to the staff today, and they were just floored by it. But they were all out there together working. Again, we're doing what we're required to do. I'm not going to lie. It's tough to keep masks on Cubs. But we had data to support, hey, they're the least affected population. We had to quarantine a couple of times, but we didn't let quarantine stand in our way. We continued on one foot in front of the other, making progress. And again, the results show that, hey, we may not be the biggest PAC in the council, but we're steady, just moving in a direction that's positive and giving the best program that the Boy Scouts of America put out there for the Cubs to do. And again, female attendance is up for us. Our families love it. They enjoy it. Have I lost some? Sure. But it hadn't been to COVID. It's been to other, hey, they're moving or whatever. In fact, I gained some back that dropped off the roll during COVID, disappeared, and then kind of called back and said, hey, can we come back and join again? Yeah, there's no joining fee. You just come back. And they're super glad that they did. And so, I wish we probably would have did a little bit more of the virtual in the summer, but like I said, we just weren't proficient. But we're doing what we're supposed to do, and we're seeing yields with that. So that's kind of what I've got.
That's good, Charlie. Great input here. So I'm just going to mention a couple of things. Charlie said it really. I actually wrote down. I mean, what I got from you, it's definitely safe to meet. It's time to meet. People want to meet face to face. Especially the kids. That's good. Thanks for sharing that with the group. So I would say if you're still not 100% in person doing those activities, campouts and fun adventures, now's the time to do it. That's a great testimonial, Charlie. The other thing, I know my staff and I were really excited about fall recruitment this coming fall. Zach touched on it. We're implementing this new position within a unit called the School Night Coordinator for PACs and troops. We really want to get a parent who's engaged with helping us reach out to the families in your area and your school so we can get as many kids into our program as possible this fall. We really think that families are hungry to be outside and to do what we do. We're going to need someone from your unit to help us accomplish that. And we'll get more information about the School Night Coordinator. And then Zach shared a little bit about the incentive plan for PACs and troops that participate with that. They're going to get a special opportunity, a special event just for them. No one else can participate, even if it's a free event. But we want to thank those units that do that School Night Coordinator role. And then Charlie said something really, really good. Part of the recruitment focus for us is not just getting the kid in scouting. It's bringing that kid's family along so you get new leaders. Recruitment is about family. Even at the scout level, there's an opportunity, even at the Scouts BSA level, there's an opportunity for the whole family to get involved. We strongly believe that when a recruitment night is promoted correctly, done well, you're going to get adult family members that will step up and help be leaders in your unit. If it's all done correctly, it will happen. And Charlie's, I've lived my life by this. You surround yourself with good people. That's the key. We got to surround each Cub master, each Scout master, each den leader has to be surrounded with good people. And that's part of our recruitment effort. So with that said, thank you, Harrison. Thank you, Charlie, for those that endorsement on face-to-face meetings. I'm happy to hear that. Roland, I'm going to hand it over to Roland Lewis, our Senior District Executive and Director of Scout Reach, to kind of go through some of the upcoming programs that we have.
Charlie, great job, man. I appreciate all your efforts. That dude rocks up there in Lakeview up there in that area. He does well, a great job. So I appreciate you, man, for all of your support. Guys, before we go into our events here, I really wanted to share one thing with you about our 7th annual Traderie, which is May 7th and 8th at 5 Points Baptist Church. If you haven't been to that Traderie, that's an awesome event where you can find almost any patch that you want. Good thing to go in and participate and see that display. Our summer events will be starting out with summer camp at Camp Horn. We have our Cub Residence Camp June the 20th through the 23rd. And we have 2 sessions of Scouts BSA Camp June 27th through July 3rd and July 11th through July 17th. Our day camps is also in our summer events. In the mountain, we have an event. Our day camp will be June 4th and 5th at Camp O'Rear. In the Prairie District, our day camps will be June 4th and 5th at White Bluff. And then in the River District, we have a week-long camp, July 5th through the 9th. And we all are going to be excited about Weird Science this year. You can see that patch. That's an awesome patch. We're excited about that. Our fall events will kick off with our Cub Scout Adventure Day. River event will be September the 18th at Camp Horn. All of our events are September the 18th, and we'll be providing that one event in 3 locations. So that's going to be a full day of work for all of us. Then our fall events will continue with Cub Haunted. We have a joint effort with River and Prairie on October 29th and 31st at Camp Horn. And then Mountains event will be October 29th and 30th. Duty to God, duty to country, service to others, adventures of a lifetime to youth, Boy Scouts of America. That's who we are. And that's what we do. We're excited about these events. One thing I wanted to share before I release it over to Darren is that all of these events, we want to make sure that they're available to all families, not necessarily a scout, but if you have a family who's interested in scouting and you want them to come to these events, just share that with us, and then we can make those opportunities for those families to be a part of all of these events. And then that will probably in hopes hook them in scouting and bring them in on board. I want to talk about my event. We're excited about our Leaders Banquet, Recognition Banquet, which is next Thursday, not this Thursday, but the next Thursday, May 13th at 6:30 at Camp Horn. This is an opportunity for us to give kudos and thanks to all of our leaders who've done outstanding work in our district, the River District and the Twin River District, and we appreciate them by assigning their awards. We're gonna have a good old fish fry and chicken cookout there at the camp. And if you hadn't already started registering for that event, please do that. All right, Darren.
All right, thank you, Roland. And thank you. I want to extend a thank you to Charlie Plasters as well. He's really got it figured out over there. I actually met Charlie for the first time at my first event. I took the job in July and I put on my first event, the Cub Adventure Day down at Walker County Lake. And it was really a breath of fresh air to see Charlie's pack come out and see the involvement of the whole family. And after coming through my first recruitment and not really getting the numbers that I had hoped for, to see Charlie's pack come up to the Mountain District and have so much involvement, and then to leave that event and come over to OREAR and stay for the weekend, it really gave me a glimpse into how scouting is a family ordeal. And you're doing a great job, and I appreciate you. So shout out to you, Charlie. I just want to talk a little bit about my May roundtable for the Mountain District. It's set for May the 13th and at Camp OREAR, but this roundtable is particularly exciting for me because this will be our first in-person roundtable since I took the job as DE in July, and it's time. My unit leaders have expressed, hey, let's get together, let's have some breakout sessions, let's fellowship together. You know, having for so long met once a month in person, I feel like these leaders have built camaraderie and are ready to get back to that fellowship. So we're going to use that time, and I'm going to use that time to show gratitude to all the unit leaders that put in so much work during these times and adapting and making it work and getting this program out there. So that's exciting, and all the while they get to enjoy great food and good company. So we're going to spend that roundtable catching up and fellowshipping, but also focusing in on a great recruitment season coming in the fall. And to do that, we have to have every unit meeting in person, engaged, putting on a great program, and I think we're excited to do that. So that's my May roundtable, and I'm gonna pass it back over to you, Roland, to talk about your district banquet.
I'm gonna tap it over to Bill. He got it.
Yeah, he good. Good job, guys. Appreciate that. One of the themes you've heard a couple of times mentioned, one of the things we're trying to create in this council is a culture that blurs district lines, if that makes sense. So if River District is having a camporee, or Mountain District or Prairie District is having a camporee, we want the units to know that if they're in Mountain and can't make it to their camporee, there's an option, most likely at a different date, where they can attend a camporee. They just have to leave their district borders, which is very much okay. We want to encourage that. The other thing we want to encourage, and Roland hit on this, is using our events. We know that if a non-scout who's kind of on the border of joining, whether or not they want to join scouting, if we can get them to a fun event, it'll help seal the deal. So Roland mentioned it. I want to reinforce what he said. Begin identifying families that you know within your circle, within your schools that your kids attend, and invite them to some of these events we have coming up. Cub Day Camp is one of those. Obviously, Cub Adventure Day is a one-day easy event for them to come out and see and participate in and see if it's something they want to pursue. But we want to start using our events as recruitment opportunities for these families. I think we might be missing out on a great opportunity. So we're going to start changing that and really pushing that effort. With that said, we've covered a lot so far. We'll close out with a couple more, some exciting things coming up. But before we do that, the Key 3 wanted to open it up and give the volunteers that are participating on our call tonight an opportunity to ask questions. And if we have the answers, we'll share those. If we don't, we'll let you know. One of the things I want to ask you to generate, might not so much be questions, but comments, is, are there things that you need that we're not doing as a council? And we'll take some notes, and if there's an opportunity for us to improve, we want to do that. These fireside chats back when I was a DE were really designed to get feedback from the leadership on what's working, what's not working, suggestions on how to do things better. So we want to give you that opportunity. And it's just, if you have questions about the bankruptcy or the direction of the local council here, the Blackwater Council, just feel free to share those. But we'll open it up for a few minutes. If you have anything to say, just unmute yourself and speak up.
All right, so I'll go first. Obviously, Charlie Plasters. I'm a high school teacher, and one of the things that we push in Tuscaloosa County is, let's call it a professional learning community, or a PLC. And that's basically a centrifuge of people that get together and exchange ideas of best practices. And it could be best practices of any sort, but what works in your classroom and why, or what works in your building and why. And so one of the things that I kind of would propose is, there are other councils out there, and I know you all do a great job of what you do, but sometimes I think that you get swamped and there's other things that you could be doing. And I just wonder if you guys ever participate in or host other council and do like a what I would consider a roundtable on the council level. Do you talk to other councils, get their input? Hey, how are you doing face to face? Or how are your virtual meetings? What do your recruitment numbers look like percentage wise based with us? Or how many volunteers do you have? Not units, but like real volunteers. How many are out at camp? How many people are making, how many movers and shakers do you have? I just know, again, that there's a lot of times that I think there are great ideas out there that we could take and we could just formulate those to us and make them personal to us. Great ideas that other people have done in the past or whatever. And we can take those. And I used to coach basketball for a long time. They say some of the best basketball coaches are the best thieves. And I'm not really promoting thievery, but if you're doing something really well, I want to do it too. And so I think we do a lot well. And I think there are other councils that can benefit by seeing what we do as well and hearing from not just our professional staff, but even sometimes our volunteers as to just the way things are going. So I was just curious, do y'all do things like that?
Roland has his hand up. Roland, you want to?
Yeah, probably the best success events, most success events that I've had in my district came from meetings that we were down in Florida at a leadership conference where, 20 or 30 other councils were there, and we shared, went out break sessions just like we do at roundtables, and we share things and share ideas. And I even won 1 year doing a boy talk there, being able to just sit around and pull, just as you was talking about, pull ideas and pull information from other people who are doing the same thing. That's beyond our national training that we go to and do sort of the same thing, but our most probably successful stories come out of those type of annual meetings that we've had previous year. Now COVID's kind of eliminated those opportunities the last couple of years, but we've been to several.
Well, I seen I'm really interested in that chart. I know Susie had a question in the chat about, does it really affect troops and packs? I'm interested in that just from the perspective of the Order of the Arrow. And wood badge stuff, sometimes that stuff matters. But looking at those territories, it seems like there's some camps in our territory that, once a month, if there's 11 other councils in our territory, once a month we could choose a council and have a back and forth or a virtual meeting with 2 or 3 of them at the same time. I know Greater Alabama's closed, Pushmataha's closed. Yagna is a little further up there, Tupelo, but even places like Memphis Area Council, some of those places, just an exchange of ideas. I know they have probably bigger numbers and all that kind of stuff, but what event wise or whatever, I think there can be a lot of ideas come out of that instead of, I agree with like the annual planning meeting and things like that, but like at the school level, it's on a monthly basis or a weekly basis. With my pack, I meet with my leaders every month. I want to refocus where we at JTE wise, where we at with whatever opportunities available to us, whether it be training adults or I want to get that information out there. And so is there like, do you all do it? Is it possible with this new alignment, this territory? Is there a way to kind of communicate and have that back and forth between like a monthly thing that you can kind of talk with a bunch of people and get new, fresh ideas?
Yeah. So the new territory structure is designed to do exactly what you're saying that we need to do. That does happen now to a certain extent. I know I was just talking to Wayne Harris. He went to training last weekend and he volunteered. He got all kinds of ideas from other councils. He's bringing those back. We'll begin implementing some of those ideas. My expectation as a scout executive is when you go as a volunteer and you meet these leaders from other councils, is you ask them questions about things and then share those with our staff so we can get that volunteer committee and drive that to make it happen. But the territory structure that Lee, our council commissioner, hit on before is really, that's the design of it. They want us to collaborate with other councils. So let's say Greater Birmingham is putting on an event that they're really known for. Let's drive our folks to that event and then let's see how they do it. And then maybe have that same event here. Or if they're, have more success with training leaders effectively, let's send our leaders up there to get trained. It's only 45 minutes away, and then learn how they do it and then adopt that back here. So Charlie, I don't think we're doing it as well as we can, but I think we need to capitalize on the volunteers like you and other folks that are out there talking to these leaders, or even on leader blogs out there. They're learning these ideas, they're implementing it within their unit, but we're not necessarily learning about how it's working at the council level. So it's difficult for us to push that information out. So we're going to count, again, like the territory is going to count more on volunteers to kind of communicate those best practices. We'll do the same thing locally, but I like the idea of like a monthly council roundtable where there's a specific design time between the councils and that territory to share best practices. And if there's a council excelling in program participation levels, number of people coming to their programs, they share that month on how they're doing it. So we get that idea and then we share it with our units. This is how they're doing it in Kentucky, wherever. I like that idea. I'll share that. I think that's an idea that even if it's bi-monthly, if they don't want to do it monthly, it's a great opportunity to learn what other people are doing successfully and then stealing that and going with it. I like that idea. Good point.
Yeah, I'll say I like that idea too, Charlie. I'll say from my perspective, the Area 5 and 9 presidents have been meeting for the last almost a year now, every month or every other month, and talking about ideas. But it's been more from membership and from government standpoint. And I think it would be helpful for the unit level to get in those meetings and talk to other councils to get those ideas. I think that would definitely be beneficial. And then the other thing is that there was one council in 2020 that actually had growth, and Zach has been spending a lot of time learning from the council executive in that council, and May can speak to that and what kind of ideas he's picked up from that.
The school night coordinator is one of those ideas. So you're going to see some stuff this fall that Zach is implementing with the field staff that council used to grow scouting. We're going to implement some of those same things here, kind of going along with what Charlie said. We have, want to respect everyone's time. We have 5 more minutes. So I'd like to get in a few more questions if there's anyone else. So Susie had one, she posted it, how does the territory concept affect at the unit level? It won't, hopefully it doesn't affect you negatively, but when it comes to collaborating with other councils, hopefully you're going to see some new and fresh ideas coming in that will benefit and hopefully enhance your PAC program. And even at the den level, hopefully too, we'll learn more stuff and be more effective with sharing best practices there. So hopefully it'll be a positive thing. There isn't an organizational chart complete yet, but they are working on it. They're filling it in with actual volunteers from each of the councils that are representing the territory. And once that's established, we'll give that to our volunteers so that if they will have a question about, National Camp School, they'll know who to call in our territory to get that question answered. So good question, Susan. Anyone else?
I don't have a question. I want to make one last statement, but one of the positive things that has come out of this COVID era is the opportunity to train. I really enjoy training. I enjoy it from the trainer perspective, but I also enjoy it from the learner perspective. And having the opportunity to do now, I'm kind of trying to engage in some commissioner training, which is totally foreign to me, but still good, relevant information. But I had the opportunity to do some university of scouting from the Denver Area Council, some Baden-Powell Institute. There are 3 or 4 different trainings that I went to virtually and literally sat in it from like a Friday night, couple hours, all day Saturday with 10-minute breaks between the classes, and then a portion of Sunday morning because I was that engaged in the conversation in the different trainings that were available. So that, just on a side note, like COVID has produced a lot of opportunity to train. So there's really no excuse for volunteers or anyone saying, well, I don't have, or I don't know, because we have the ability to train all over the country now.
Good point. Good point. Any other questions or comments before we wrap up? If you're shy, listen, I'll tell you this. Feel free to email myself or any one of our staff, and we will get back with you with an answer to your question. Let me see here. Does anyone? There's a question here from Williams Yeager. Let me see here. So does this organizational change take any decision-making power from the local council unit level and some of the council level? Does it change popcorn fundraising distribution? It does not. So the new territory structure won't affect either of those. I will tell you this. The National Boy Scouts of America is going through some board restructuring and some governance restructuring. That may potentially give us actually more input on the decision making at the national level. So there's some good things happening in that direction. It won't change our popcorn fundraising and distribution. Matter of fact, our popcorn campaign is being formulated right now. We're actually putting some final touches on it. Hopefully, if we can get back to the storefront sales and door-to-door sales this fall, everyone's going to benefit from that. So hopefully that answers that question. Caramel corn. I don't know. Justin, are they doing the caramel corn? I know the butter's back. Microwave butter's going to be back. I'm pretty sure caramel corn will be there. John, thanks for that intriguing question. I'm pretty sure it'll go caramel. Again, if anyone has any questions and they're not comfortable sharing those, My wife is addicted to popcorn, the caramel corn. Listen, we hope a lot of people are, and they'll be hungry for it this fall. We are going to do some incentive programs that are kind of unique to our council for popcorn, since you brought that up. Hopefully it'll create some excitement with your kids and the families that are participating. We want to kind of add some incentives to really get kids excited about selling and learning about all about the sales part of it, and public speaking and the other benefits. Earning your own way is a huge lesson we can teach in scouting. Popcorn's a great way to do that. So hopefully we're going to enhance some of those things that the kids are going to experience while selling popcorn. So I think that's pretty much it. There's a few items, I'd like to highlight, and then let the key three kind of, Joel and Lee, have any final comments, and our staff too. But there is excitement building about scouting. I think people that are entrenched in the scouting program, that are kind of those legacy scouts, are excited just to get back to some normalcy. And I want that excitement to boil over into other families that are not in scouting. So the pictures that we talked about, some of those pictures, the videos that we want you to send in to Justin here at the office, we want to use those as promotional opportunities. So when you send those in, we're going to post them on Facebook. We're going to do the TikTok thing. But we need scouts in action doing the fun things that our scouts do. So get those into our hands, and we're going to use those as part of our marketing efforts going into this fall. Summer camp registration numbers. We surpassed 2019. There are more kids signed up for summer camp and Cub resident camp than we had in 2019, the last time we did this. So people are excited about it, and that's with fewer scouts on our roll. Or we couldn't recruit last fall. Instead of recruiting 700 new families into scouting, we recruited less than 100 last fall because we didn't have school access. So school access, we know now, is very crucial to our success and growth in scouting. But what it tells me is that those that stayed in scouting are excited about the summer camp programs that we're offering here at Horn and even O'Rear. So camp improvements at Horn and O'Rear, they're happening. We've invested a lot of our resources, inspired by the dedication of our volunteers that have spent, months literally living at Camp Horn and O'Rear to make it better during the time they were laid off or on furlough. It was amazing to see the effort, and it's continuing. Just about every weekend we have a group of volunteers that are out there helping Tim Patrick, our camp ranger, really enhance camp at O'Rear and at Horn. The fall recruitment plans, we're finalizing those now. The school night coordinator, I know I mentioned a couple times, but that's crucial to our success. Our programs, hopefully you're going to see some improvements in those going into the fall. We're excited about those. And then next year, everyone listen closely, next year is our council's 100th anniversary. We have a committee already in place that's making plans. We're going to be sharing some of those plans through summer camp and into the fall. Next year will be a great year to introduce people to scouting and to really celebrate what the Black Warrior Council has meant to tens of thousands of families over the past century. So we're very excited about that. Joel and Lee, do you have any other closing comments you'd like to do as we wrap up?
Yeah, I would just like to thank everyone, volunteers. Thank you for all you're doing. Charlie, you've got me excited about what's to come with scouting. I appreciate all your efforts and the excitement you have for scouting. And just want to let you all know that the council, the board, we're here to support you. And if you've got questions, if you've got things that you've got problems with, feel free to call me, reach out to me, and let us know, let us help. But thank you all.
Well, I was going to say that, that the board and the scout executives and all of our leadership within our scouting is always trying to make things better. That's been always the goal. And for all the bad things that have happened in the past year with COVID and the lawsuit, really the adversity has helped generate a lot more discussion, generate a lot more creativity in how to do things. And in the long run, hopefully will be a benefit from just what we've learned and ways of doing things better, because things were more difficult. So hopefully there's a silver lining to the adversity we have been faced with.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate all you guys did. They have spent, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of man hours working through the national issues and making sure that our council is strong on the other end of this. So I'm appreciative of our board and really genuinely, I said it before, thankful for each of you volunteers and your willingness to work with our future, with our kids. I would even argue our present. I mean, these kids are making a difference in schools now, on teams now, with their friends now because of what they learned in scouting. And that doesn't happen without you speaking with them face to face and being mentors and role models and teaching them some great activities. So I want to thank you. To my staff, very proud of what they've done. They've held it together. I mean, listen, other councils are falling apart, frankly. Our staff has been dedicated to see us through 2020 into 2021 and very excited about what the future holds for our council. So I'm proud of our staff. With that said, staff, do you have any other comments or any closing thoughts you want to share with? So thank you very much for participating in this. Hopefully it was helpful. As things come up that are significant, we may do this again in the next quarter, just to keep you engaged. Share this information with your families. This has been recorded, so we will share it with the volunteers that couldn't make it because of one thing or another, but we are proud of the Black Warrior Council, and we're proud of the direction we're going in. So that concludes our meeting. Thank you, everyone.